The film kicks off in an underground digging site where a team of construction workers is busy cleaning up a very messy place. While some workers are looking around, they spot strange creatures that shouldn't be there. In the midst of all the mess, they discover a large egg covered in some weird goo. As the men admire this peculiar egg, you can see their fascination in their wide eyes and the way they touch it. Out of nowhere, their boss shows up and scolds them for not working hard enough, telling them to stop being lazy. 3 of the men obediently follow the boss, carrying the slimy egg with them, but one worker stays behind. Without realizing it, he steps on a patch of slimy green stuff. He bends down to check out this mysterious substance, and then a deep, unsettling growl comes from behind him. His heart starts pounding as he slowly turns around, only to find himself face to face with a massive, mutated creature, and its terrifying presence sends shivers down his spine. Filled with fear, the plump man rushes back to his comrades, desperately trying to warn them. However, it's too late, as the monstrous creature launches a vicious attack. With its enormous tentacles, it starts picking them off one by one, causing the remaining workers to panic and scramble over each other to escape the wasteland. Amid the chaos, one resourceful construction worker spots an opportunity and leaps into his truck, keeping the egg safe in the back. But their escape is abruptly halted when they encounter a cunning father and son duo named Hei-Chi and Xiao-Ji, who are clever thieves. They've strategically scattered nails along the road, causing the truck's tires to succumb to this dangerous trap, making it swerve uncontrollably and veer off the road. During this commotion, the truck's cargo is jolted from its secure position, crashing to the ground and revealing its contents for all to see. Seizing their chance, the thieves grab the crate containing the egg and make a hasty getaway. In the car ride home, the child notices that the egg is moving and making strange sounds. When he tells his father, Hei-Chi dismisses it as the child's imagination. Upon their arrival at the house, they are taken aback to find Xiao-Jie's mother, Wu-Lin Na, who has come with her new fiancé. Hei-Chi is anxious about what Wu-Lin Na might say, but his son assures him that he will talk to her about sneaking out of the house on his own to visit his father. However, when Xiaojie gets distracted by a toy given to him by Wu-Lin Na's fiancé, Li Ren, she scolds Hei-Chi for not asking permission to have the child. She goes on to inform him that she's taking their child out of town the following week. Li Ren, with a smug attitude, adds that it's not safe for the child to be living with his financially struggling father and suggests that a change of environment would be beneficial, belittling Hei-Chi's way of life. Enraged by these hurtful words, Hei-Chi attacks Li Ren, and the two of them engage in a physical brawl. After overpowering Hei-Chi and leaving him battered on the floor, Wu-Lin Na and her fiancé hastily rush the child out of the house and into their car. Later, Hei-Chi tends to his wounds during dinner with his father, who advises him that Beijing would be a good place for his son to move to. While they were talking, the old man, He Jianghai, heard a strange noise outside. He went out to see what it was and noticed the noise was coming from his son's car. He walked closer and looked through the window, but he got a big surprise when he saw a creature with long, wiggly arms inside the car. Frightened, he rushed back inside and called his son in a panic. They both went out to see what was going on. When they looked up, they saw huge tentacles coming out of the car, which was now hovering just above the ground. The tentacles reached for them, so the two men hurried back into the house, very startled. While they watched from the window to see what the creature was doing, Hei-Chi noticed his ex-wife's car pulling up, and he saw his son running towards his house. He was scared for his son's safety, so he ran outside only to see the creature wrapping its tentacles around his son and pulling him into the car. To save the child, the grandfather and mother grabbed onto Xiaojie's hand, while Hei-Chi cut off one of the tentacles. Wu-Lin Na found some gasoline in the junkyard, poured it all over the car and set it on fire, causing it to explode. The group stood there, watching in amazement as the monster squirmed inside the car, while the fire consumed it entirely. Inside the house, Xiaojie pointed out to his father that he had warned him there was something inside the egg, mentioning that He Qi hadn't been willing to listen. A few minutes later, Li Ren stormed into the house with his men, clearly concerned after receiving a call about a monster from his fiancée. He arrogantly scolded her for interrupting his important dinner, which offended Wu Lin Na. As they discussed the bizarre situation, the ground started to tremble as if there was an earthquake. Suddenly, they noticed enormous tentacles surrounding the house, attached to a colossal monster. In sheer terror, Li Ren and his men fled from the house, leaving Wu Lin Na and the others behind. However, the monster attacked them all, flinging them in all directions. Seizing the opportunity, He Qi, Wu Lin Na, and the grandfather grabbed the child and attempted to escape. But it appeared the monster was solely interested in Xiaoji. It attacked the parents and snatched the child before vanishing into a hole in the ground. Screaming and desperately digging at the ground where their child disappeared, the parents couldn't hold back their tears, fearing the worst. Wu Lin Na, overwhelmed with anger and desperation, began punching He Qi's chest, pleading with him to bring her son back. The family sat on the floor, contemplating their next steps, their hearts heavy with worry. Then, the door burst open, and a disheveled elderly man entered, accompanied by a young assistant with pigtails. They brandished a small tracking device, attempting to scan for any traces of the monster. However, they soon noticed He Qi and Wu Lin Na. Excitedly approaching the distraught parents, the newcomer quickly pulled out their phone and inquired if they had caught a glimpse of the mysterious monster. Just then, the eccentric old man's attention was diverted by the sound of his name being called. He turned around, pleasantly surprised to see his long-lost friend, He Jianghai. With warm smiles on their faces, they joyfully greeted each other and shared a heartfelt handshake. After exchanging pleasantries, the quirky professor, Lao Zhang, examined the tentacle they had previously cut and explained that they might have killed the monster's offspring. Ale, the professor's student, started to read aloud about the monster, explaining that it was a creature that had mutated due to exposure to various toxins. The two of them clarified that the monster probably took the child because he smelled like its own kind. After all, Xiaojie had been splashed by the baby monster's blood when He Qi cut its tentacles. The desperate parents clung to hope that the monster would keep their son alive until they found him. However, Lao Zhang warned them that the child could be in danger as soon as the scent wore off. Meanwhile, down in the monster's lair, Xiaoji found himself surrounded by towering piles of trash. While exploring, he heard the growling of the monster as it slithered toward him with its enormous tentacles. Drawing nearer, the creature gazed at the boy with affection until it licked his face, sensing that something was amiss. It growled loudly and retreated into its space. Following it, Xiaoji noticed that the monster was in distress from something it had eaten earlier and tried to help by pulling out a cord that the creature seemed to be trying to vomit out. After several attempts, Xiaoji successfully eases the creature's discomfort, creating a sense of affection between them. In the city, Lao Zhang takes the group back to his lab and provides some insights about other monsters in the world, explaining that their nature could be good or evil depending on how humans treat the environment. He then reveals a large syringe containing a substance he believes could serve as a tranquilizer for the monster. In the monster's lair, Xiaojie now feels much more comfortable around the creature and observes as it devours the garbage. When he notices his own hunger, the beast pushes a piece of cabbage closer to Xiaoji, offering him food. They begin picking up trash around them and engage in a game where Xiaoji tosses it to the monster, which attempts to catch it in the air. After the creature falls asleep, Xiaoji explores the surroundings and is startled when he encounters a man, one of the construction workers who had been trapped inside. The man tells him that they need to figure out a way to escape from there. Agreeing with the man, Xiaojie explains that they can sneak around the sleeping monster without hurting it. As they cautiously navigate past the sprawling tentacles, an accidental misstep causes a loud noise, startling the creature from its slumber. Panic sets in as they make eye contact with the towering beast, and they quickly decide to run. In the chaos, Xiaoji stumbles and falls into a nearby pond, struggling to stay afloat. Just as it seems like all hope is lost, the creature swiftly intervenes, saving Xiaoji from drowning. Back in the city, the group is prepared to rescue the child. When Wu Lin Na enters He Chi's car, she discovers medication hidden in a candy jar and notices a paper near the driver's seat. As she reads it, she is shocked to learn that her ex-husband is critically ill and doesn't have much time to live. Tears stream down her face as she folds up the paper and puts it back where she found it. When he returns to the car, she confronts him about keeping such a serious secret and asks if it's the reason he divorced her. Promising to explain everything later, He Chi starts the car and the group heads to the mountain where the massive waste dump is located. Upon arrival, they encounter construction workers who had been there the previous day and had returned to introduce poisonous gas into the monster's lair. Convincing them to postpone releasing the toxic gas, the group enters the cave and begins searching for Xiaoji. After venturing deep into the cave, they hide and watch as the monster stands over Xiaoji, who is still unconscious from his earlier fall. Although Xiaoji's parents are eager to rush over and embrace their son, Lao Zhang urges them to wait until he administers the sedative to the monster. Once they inject the creature, they observe as it gently lifts Xiaoji, places him on a higher platform for his safety, and then collapses to the ground. Assured that the monster is now safely incapacitated, they rush to their son and breathe a sigh of relief upon finding that he is still breathing. Before they can move Xiaojai, the monster returns to slumber. When it sees that they are touching its companion, it attempts to fling them aside with its tentacle. Just before making contact, the construction workers enter, armed with crossbows and ready to confront the creature. They shoot it with more arrows, trying to restrain it while others toss poison and fire in its direction. When Xiaojai awakens, he finds himself in his parents' embrace and sees the men attacking his friend, the wounded monster. Overcome with tears and screams, he implores the men not to harm the creature any further, but his pleas fall on deaf ears. Witnessing the boy in distress, the beast summons all its remaining strength and pushes the men away, freeing itself from the chains. In the chaos, one of the men accidentally drops an explosive device that shakes the platform Xiaoji is on, causing him to fall. However, the creature comes to his rescue, preventing the child from sustaining any harm. Just as it sets the child on the ground safely, Xiaojai's parents feel a tremor in the ground, causing a large pile of trash to collapse on their son. Just before the impact, the beast positions itself in the way, absorbing the full force of the falling trash and protecting Xiaoji. Taking advantage of the creature's weakened state, the men continue to attack it until one of the workers, who believed his brother had been killed by the monster, opens the creature's abdomen, causing its demise. Suddenly, people who had been hiding in the cave start emerging, proving that the monster hadn't harmed anyone. They also noticed that the creature's stomach was filled only with trash, causing immediate regret for their harsh decision. Weeks after the incident, He Chi is invited to appear on TV for an interview about the monster. He Chi explains that the creature was actually helping humans by absorbing garbage instead of harming them, raising awareness about its significance. Later, He Chi and Wu Lin now rekindle their relationship and agree to get remarried. And with that, the movie comes to an end. Thanks for watching, guys.